If you hear me!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Redline Royal Rumble Recap Spectacular! What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? My name is Red Watson, and I will be recapping for you today the 2023 WWE Royal Rumble, and what a show it was, folks. I cannot begin to describe to you how exciting it was to watch. I thought it was great from start to finish. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I even enjoyed what could only be described as a product placement gimmick match with the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. I think that the winners of the respective Royal Rumble matches, Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes, were well deserved. I think that Roman Reigns still looks strong. Kevin Owens looks strong. Sami Zayn, of course. Now we see the full face turn of Sami Zayn, which of course we've all seen coming from a mile away. It was thoroughly suspected and speculated, and now we see it come to fruition where Sami Zayn has officially turned on the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and seemingly left the bloodline. And what of the Usos? Is there division there between Jimmy and Jay? It certainly would seem so, as Jay left the ring last night after Solo, Jimmy, and Roman decimated Kevin Owens, decimated Sami Zayn, and it's going to be an interesting one to follow as we head toward the next premium live event, Elimination Chamber, coming up February 18th. I think this storyline has a huge potential to be one of the best long-term, story-driven feuds that WWE has done in quite some time, harkening back to, of course, Daniel Bryan in 2013 and his pursuit to become the WWE champion. I think that the Royal Rumble yielded results that are promising. Walter is the story of the night, entering the men's Royal Rumble at number 1 and beating the previous record held by Rey Mysterio of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds with a new record of over 1 hour and 11 minutes. I believe the final time I heard was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 25 seconds. So the new record held by, well, I called him Walter, name Gunther in WWE, but for those of you that have seen him in his Euro wrestling days, it's Walter. He looked strong. He looks like an absolute beast of a man, someone to be reckoned with, which is, I think, of course, what WWE wants. They want that big, unstoppable, hard-to-defeat, badass heel, and the Ring General fits that bill perfectly. Rhea Ripley, of course, won the 30 Women's Royal Rumble. She looked like a badass, of course, as you would expect Rhea to be booked as. She's a big, strong woman. She's mommy, of course, so she's going to be booked as this unstoppable force. You had Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship, and that match was interesting to me. I thought that Alexa looked way more aggressive right out of the box, of course, coming out, and just her and Bianca just going right at each other. There was no pomp, there was no circumstance, there was no circle the ring. It was let's come out and start swinging, and it delivered the bill between two of what I consider to be the top female wrestlers in the world today, certainly in WWE. Alexa Bliss, of course, in recent years has kind of taken more of a, I don't want to say developmental role, but she's definitely a veteran wrestler, someone who WWE, of course, has kind of moved off of in recent years with some of their storytelling, but now it seems that they're coming back around, and it looks like, based on the video promo of Playground and Uncle Captain Colonel Howdy, I'm still not sure what to call him. I'm not sure if he's Uncle Howdy, Captain Howdy, Colonel Howdy, but he's some southern gentleman demon thing, and he's been, of course, seen with Bray Wyatt, seen now going after Alexa Bliss, quote unquote. He, of course, appeared at the Monday Night Raw where Bianca Belair was set to deliver the KOD onto some chairs out in the crowd. Captain Howdy appears, Alexa slips out of it and is able to DDT Bianca on the floor. And now we see, after Bianca and Alexa's match last night, that it looks like they might be recruiting her into what could be some new stable with Bray Wyatt, perhaps a resurrection or reiteration of the Firefly Funhouse, and I'm here for it. I am all in favor of that. I thought it was a good angle, a good story that just didn't quite get fleshed out enough, and I think that moving forward, it's going to be extremely beneficial for Alexa. It's something that all the fans enjoyed when she was with the Firefly Funhouse. I thought it added a new angle of depth to Bray Wyatt's character as well. I think it's going to be mutually beneficial for both of them to work together and form something almost akin to what The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness was like. Personally, if I'm fantasy booking something, I would love to see the Judgment Day against whatever Bray Wyatt is going to do. I think it would be great. You'd have two extremely dark, brooding tag teams going against each other, and of course, Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor have a documented history against each other. You know, they've wrestled multiple times in the past, and there's always been entertaining matches. I think Rhea and Alexa could be a good in-ring dynamic with each other. I think that moving forward, you're going to see a lot more story unfold into what exactly is going on with Alexa Bliss. But moving away from that now, I would like to talk about what could only be described as a gimmick product placement match, and that would be the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, and I loved this match. The character of LA Knight is so grating and annoying, and I have come to not only root against him, but find him to be perhaps the perfect foil for the heel of Bray Wyatt, because, of course, Bray Wyatt, very soft-spoken, very intimidating, very methodical, I guess, in his way of talking, and meanwhile, you have this counter, this foil to him in the person of LA Knight, this brash, bold, yeah, I know, I'm a badass and I'm gonna tell you about it, and there's not a thing you can do about it, but I'm gonna slap you and run away. He's the perfect cowardly chicken heel to this Bray Wyatt character iteration that we're starting to see form now, where it seems they're going to give Bray Wyatt not just one personality, they're going to give him multiple personalities, and, throughout the course of the match, we saw, of course, what we all expected. LA Knight got some offense in. He wasn't made to look, like just a pylon that Bray was going to run through, but also, Bray took control of the match and pretty much never gave it back, which was great, and I thought the aesthetics of the match were really, really cool. It was UV reactive, everything glowed in the dark. LA Knight, of course, came out wearing bright yellow, and it looked awesome when the lights went out. Bray Wyatt had glow-in-the-dark face paint. It looked really sweet. His tattoos were done, in glow-in-the-dark paint as well. His face, he had glowing red UV reactive contacts that I thought looked awesome. His look throughout the match, Bray Wyatt's look, is definitely something that I think is going to be iconic and kind of come to define him for a while. I think moving forward, I would love to see more stuff kind of like that from Bray. I think your appearance, I think your attire goes a long way to defining who you are as a character. Of course, like I said, it was awesome. Stuff was flying all around the ring. They had really, really bright yellow popcorn that glowed green. And, of course, after the match, Bray Wyatt lays LA Knight out with Sister Abigail, gets the pinfall, and then he goes over to the corner and he comes back up. You just see his head down in the corner, and you see the back of his head with those classic dreadlocks that he had when he was the Fiend, and he turns around and he's got on this horrifying looking mask, and he just proceeds to beat the daylights out of LA Knight, who tries to run away through the crowd, and we see the Firefly Funhouse characters appear. They're fighting over near some scaffolding, and then Captain Colonel Howdy appears on top of the scaffolding as Wyatt applies the mandible claw, puts LA Knight to sleep, and then we see Captain Colonel Uncle Howdy dive off the scaffolding, through the stage, through LA Knight. This is one gripe that I had from this whole thing. It was a terrible miss from whoever was in the Captain Colonel Uncle Howdy costume, and also the camera guy didn't do him any favors because, man, he missed that dive by a country mile, and you could tell it, and it was bad camera work. I thought, small minor gripe, all things considered. I thought the story was great. I thought everything else about it was great. I just could have dealt with a little bit better camera work. Of course, like I said, from the earlier match with Alexa and Bianca, of course, retained. Moving forward, I don't think WWE is going to move off of Bianca anytime soon, because she is a mega draw. I think she's great. She's over with the crowd, and I think that people love Bianca. They love her look. They love the EST thing. It works for her. It works for her well. About the only thing I can maybe see is her confidence possibly turning her heel, but I don't see it. She's just way too over, and people, again, love Bianca Belair. So now, what's, of course, Rhea Ripley, after winning the 30 Women Royal Rumble, what does she do? Does she challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship, or does she go and challenge for the Raw Women's Championship? And ultimately, I think either way, it's going to be a great match. Of course, I believe Charlotte is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and of course, as we know, Bianca Belair, still the Raw Women's Champion. So yeah, of course, Rhea Ripley is the winner of the 2023 SmackDown Women's Royal Rumble, and now she'll get to pick her choice of who she faces at WrestleMania. And personally, I believe it's going to be Charlotte. I think that it's going to be two powerhouse women duking it out. I think it's something that everybody could get behind in terms of wanting to see. Charlotte, of course, one of the most dominant women's wrestling champions in recent history. Bianca, of course, would be a great matchup. She might even decide somehow that they'll work a way for her to challenge for both. Maybe they'll do a unified women's tag team championship. I mean, that seems to be the way that a lot of titles in WWE are going these days. They're going by the way of unification. I mean, we see, of course, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships held by the Usos. We see the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship held by Roman Reigns. Why not have an undisputed Women's Championship and have both brands be fighting for superiority over it? We've seen Becky Lynch, Becky two belts, hold both championships, so why not give Rhea a chance to see if maybe she could work her way into winning both championships? I think right now she's as popular as anybody. I think that it would be well deserved, and it would definitely be something that I could see Triple H in his first foray of booking going after and pursuing. She's got the look. She's, obviously someone who's physically impressive as well as she is beautiful. And moving forward, I look for her to do big things. Of course, Cody Rhodes won the Men's Royal Rumble, and what more could you say about a man like Cody Rhodes? He came out, of course, after that gruesome pec injury. The last time we saw him was against Seth freaking Rollins, and at Hell in a Cell, where he had that huge, just nasty bruise across his chest, and he looked good last night. He looked like he was not missing a beat, not an ounce of ring rust on him, and he's gonna, of course, go to WrestleMania, and I believe at the end of the day, Roman Reigns is not going to give up those belts until either Sami Zayn takes them off of him or Cody Rhodes takes them off of him. And of course now that poses a dilemma for WWE, which is what you would think would be good for them. They would want a dilemma like that, where who do we belt on? Either way, they're going to be over, but ultimately, you're going to have to make a decision. You cannot 50-50 book it. Although, what they could do is split up the Universal Heavyweight and World Heavyweight Championships, and Sammy gets a belt, and Cody gets a belt, and each show has their own world title now to go after, just like it was kind of in the Ruthless Aggression era, where they had the World Championship and the WWE Championship. Maybe they pursue something like that, but moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see how WWE books all these superstars, I think the Royal Rumble has gone a long way to solidify a lot of people's places in WWE. A lot of people who might have been quote-unquote afterthought wrestlers prior to this show now are going to be people who are forces to be reckoned with. A lot of NXT stars came out and got some shine in both the men's and women's Royal Rumbles. Mostly in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think that now the future of professional wrestling in the WWE looks to be in competent, capable hands who want to have an emphasis on telling stories, creating memorable people that are going to be interesting to watch. No one is going to look like they are just a speed bump on the way for somebody else. And I think that it looked extremely balanced. All the matches looked extremely balanced. Everyone looked like they are going to get an opportunity. And if you prove yourself in this WWE, it now seems like you will have a spot at the table, which of course has been lacking a lot in recent memory, especially if you read the internet. So now we'll all get to see what's going to happen and how, moving forward, everything continues to progress. Is the future closer on the horizon than any of us WWE fans thought? I guess it'll be up to us to tune in, find out, and hopefully we'll be rewarded for our patience and our loyalty to this company. And I believe that, of course, Triple H is going to try to do right by as many wrestlers as he can, because, again, he went out and recruited many of these guys, so he has kind of a, I don't want to say stake in their success, but he wouldn't have gone out and gotten these wrestlers if he didn't believe that they could be valuable assets to the WWE. And many of the wrestlers who either won or got over last night, of course, were recruits that Triple H brought in to either NXT or to WWE. And I think that it's going to be a good run for WWE in the not-too-distant future. Signing off for the Royal Rumble Recap Spectacular, I'm Red Watson, and until next time, stay cool, everybody. Goodbye.